we're back. Reece here, Reece's Shed, and this week is a very special episode, guys, because we just topped 1,000 subscribers. So this is a celebration, and I just wanted to say thank you to everybody out there that's watched any of these videos, commented, liked and subscribed. Very, very grateful, and just want to say thanks to all you guys. And to anyone else out there that's watching this, if this is your first time, this is my shed and these are my projects. And what we do here is we take things that are left for dead and we revive them into something of use, and we have fun along the way. This channel is basically a what you guys can do at home channel. So it's I try and make the example that you don't need a huge budget, you don't need good tools, you don't need anything other than a bit of you know, a bit of want, a bit of motivation, and some time. So at the moment our current project is the 12-2K HQ Holden Ute, and basically we're at the point of been teasing for a couple of weeks now that we're going to do a burnout when we get to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm going to hold myself to that promise. So this video we're going to get through the last few things we need to do to get that thing turning tyres. But yeah, just want to once again just say thanks very much, guys, to everyone out there that's liked, comment, subscribed. It's really helped build the channel, and I hope you guys like this video. So and you guys out there that have just clicked on the video for the first time, I hope you like it. So what we're going to do now, got to get in the shed and we're going to get this thing running under its own power. So we've got to get the brakes working, we're going to get the oil in the transmission, which we're going to do as soon as I'm finished talking, and got to make sure the torque converter and everything works. There's a bunch of work to do, so I'll just leave you with a video now, and yeah, I hope you like it. Cheers, guys. Well, not a good start. Looks like this rear extension housing seal's leaking. Check this out. Hey, Rogue.
Look out. Let the people see.
There we go. That oil is pouring out of there, which is just awesome. Just what I want. So I'm gonna have to get a seal for that. And probably some more oil. Anyway, let's carry on with this other stuff. We'll get a drain ball under that to catch the oil, and carry on with the other stuff that we've got to get done before we fire this thing up. Time to put some water in the radiator. Who else do you know that steals the dog's water bucket to fill up their radiator? I don't know anyone except for me. My accuracy is probably not that good. So need some more. Now I'm really hoping that this inlet manifold fits the block and the heads. And I hope the heads are sealing, the head gaskets, because I don't want to end up with water in the sump. Well, that's a pretty big bucket, and it just took 2 of them. So, pretty sure that water's all gone in the sump. That is not good. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, I can see water dripping here. And that is dripping from a place that probably shouldn't drip water. Let's get our light. Get down on the ground. Maybe it's just because I spilt it, I don't know. Well, the good news is it's coming up from higher. It's coming from above the sump, which is good. It's not coming out of the sump. Where's it coming from? I think I can see water coming out of the water pump. I can definitely see it bouncing down onto the top of the crankshaft. There's water coming out of the water pump. Alright, let's try and get a better view. Get this water pump pulley off and have a look. See what we can see. Because we really need to see where that leak's coming from before we go any further. Hopefully it's the water pump. Just day of leaks today. Transmission first and then this. What do? It's old stuff, you just gotta get in and fix it. Alright, all them bolts are out. That pulley off. It's definitely leaking behind the water pump. But is it the water pump or is it the gasket? Not even sure where I can see that. I'll have a look for my mirror. Grab my mirror and I'll be back. Alright guys, can you see that? Water leaking behind the water pump. So, I have to pull that water pump off, find out if it's the gasket or if it's the timing cover. So I'll quickly rip that off now. And I think we're probably going to have to have a look and see if there's any water in the sump too, because I'm not real happy with that. Alright, let's get this water pump off. Well, there's no water coming out the bolt hole, so that's a good start. I wonder if I've missed a spot on that timing recover repair or not. I don't think I did. It's a weird spot to leak, right where that's leaking. Alright. Now, take the bottom hose off. Hopefully some water comes out of there and it's not all in the sump. Not very often you wish for water to come out of somewhere, but today we really wish that water comes out of this hose and that hasn't all ended up in the sump. Catch that water. Considering how much water I put in there, there's not a lot coming back out. About half of that bucket. It's not going to hurt to drop the sump later, so I'll do that after we sort out this leak. Alright, that's all the bolts out. Let's have a look. Oh. It's interesting. Interesting. Get the feeling that that gasket is the one that's let us down. So I wonder if we can gently play around with this and not break that gasket and put it back on with some glue. I'll have to have a go. Wriggle, wriggle. This gasket's had better days. Jeez. You can see how cold it is out here. It's got steam coming off of everything. Steam coming off of everything. Now at this point, this water pump is no good. But I just want to get it back on there with some glue. Make sure that's where our leak was coming from. Before we persist too much further. Okay, so get rid of all this old gasket on both sides. Well, if we can. Looked like a pretty good water pump. But you never know, do you? Who knows what happened to this gasket from sitting there for so long not being used. Eh? Alright, it doesn't look like there's any more gasket in there. A little bit there. A little bit there. Oh yep, there's some. Alright, water pump's back on. Bottom hose back on. Okay. Screwdriver. Let's put some water in it. Okay, so I've put some more water in there. And it turns out that the water pump isn't any good. We've got water coming out of the telltale. So, if you have a look, you guys can probably see better than me. Hang on a second, I'll just get you the better angle. Let's see, can you see what's going on there? See where that water's coming out of? That is the telltale, which means the seal's no good. So, we're up for a water pump. But I'm not mad at it because I was just going to have to put one on anyway now that we've destroyed that gasket. So, first thing tomorrow I'll order a water pump, get that back on, and then we'll be doing a skid. Water pump and an extension housing seal for the transmission. Hey, teething problems, guys. That's what happens when you want to customize a car. Anyway, better to find out now than at the drags. Alright, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay guys, we're back. Got a water pump from Fields Warehouse today on the way home from work. And I got an extension housing seal. So we're going to get stuck into putting those in, and hopefully we don't have a water leak and an oil leak anymore. Stick around. Okay guys, so we've picked up the extension housing seal from Beals. There you go, that's the one. Been told that's the right part number. And we've also got a quality water pump. So, one thing to know about these guys is the Holden V8s have got different length water pumps, and depending on which pulley set you've got, will basically depend on which water pump you need to buy. So this one, basically we're using a pulley set off of a late model, so like Commodore stuff. So Commodore water pumps are longer. It's good that that comes with the gasket. I was worried about that. Alright, and our new water pump here. So this is the length here that differs, guys. So on the Tiranas and earlier, usually got this pulley right back here. But as you can see on the Commodores, they're quite a bit longer. And it's a bit of a muchness. It doesn't really matter as long as you get the right pulleys to suit the water pump you're using. Now, we're going to do the same as we did when we put this all together and put some glue on there. And we're going to chuck this all together. So, bear with me, I'll get that glued up and I'll come back when we've got it stuck on. Alright guys, so I've gone ahead obviously and pulled out the plugs out of the old water pump because I didn't intend on doing this. So I've already bolted the water pump on before I even thought about these plugs. So now we have to do them anyway, but the water pump's on and I don't want to disturb that gasket, so we're going to use the trick we used last time. Because we don't want to get aluminium shavings down inside the water pump, we're just going to get the tap and we're going to run it into our petroleum jelly. You can see how many uses this has, guys. I use this all the time. Alright, that's going on your tap, and then your tap's going down there, and that will catch your dags, and you won't lose them inside the water pump. Brand new water pump. With any luck anyway. Now the trick here is to get the threads in enough to hold your plug but not too far. So I want to make sure I've got a good purchase on these threads because I don't want to damage the water pump. But I also don't want to drive this down too far. So it's starting to feel like there's a bit of resistance on there now, which is good. The tap's about half the way in, so give it a little bit more and then we'll try this plug. So I've actually tapped it, look at that, about the right width. Because these starting threads up here, they're actually, they're not doing a whole lot. So that's about the perfect amount. So that one's done. I'll clean my tap and then I'll do the other hole. Got those two plugs in there. Got these ones in here. So that's all taken care of. And now we just got to put the bottom hose back on and put some water back in it, and we'll see if we've got any leaks this time. Fingers crossed. Bottom hose is tight, plugs are all in, top hose is on and tight. It's time to put some water back in. I'll show you something, guys. Check out the colour of that. It's been sitting in there overnight in the block, and that was fresh water. So there is benefit to acid washing these blocks if you can, but obviously we're doing it on a budget and a time frame, so we didn't do that. But hey guys, if you're going to keep a car long term and you want it running good and you want to stop corrosion, definitely use distilled water and acid wash your block before you put it in the car. Alright, let's chuck some water in this thing. I'm going to get some fresh water and come back. Plenty of water in there. And nothing dripping down there. So I'd call that a win. Thank God. Alright, that's me for the night. I'm going in. See you tomorrow. Okay, we're under the ute and we're pulling out the tail shaft because we're going to change out this extension housing seal. So we've got to get out these bolts here. Again. You can see the last time I had the shaft out, I gave it a nice paint job. But yeah, got to get these bolts out, and then we've got a leak coming out of here. So that's the seal we're going to replace. That seal there. And then we'll stop having this oil leaking out. While we're under here, we're actually going to tackle something else I've been meaning to get to, and that is the speedo drive just there. So we're going to plug that up as well because that'll leak oil, and then all of this should go away at that point. I think that'd be the end of the oil leaks. And so once we've done the extension housing seal, I actually am going to replace the rear uni joint in this tail shaft. I've already done the front one. I had a brand new Commodore one sitting on the shelf, but I actually have ordered a combination uni joint for the rear, and I'll put that part number up on the screen now. I think it's a 3022 Hardy Splicer anyway, so it's got the EF Falcon and the Commodore sizes joined together. So that will be what I'm going to do, because at the moment I've just got a Commodore one in there with Falcon caps, which works, but it's got 1 millimeter of clearance unless I push the caps down. And so what I've had to do in the past was I pushed the caps down and used a couple of steel shims, but I'm not a fan of that because I want to race this thing. So I bit the bullet and got the correct uni joint. So while we've got this out doing the seal, we'll do the uni joint, and then we can put it back on the ground, turn it around, and get the tyres turning. Yeah. All right, let's get this done. That Loctite is good. Oh, God, I cannot get them apart. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put this thing in gear. Let's try one more. One more. Oh. Got it. All right. Fuck, that one is tight. Whew. Okay, it's 2 undone. Three. And go back to this last one again. Too far. Wow. I got it. I got it. Ugh. That Loctite was good stuff. Okay, now get all them out. Oh, that was actually really hard. And that seal is definitely the wrong size. Don't buy this one. It's not the right one. Thanks, Veals. Right, Alright, we're going to have to go look through the storage. Well, that doesn't look right either. Okay, that's all I've got. Might have to go for a run down the parts shop. Oh well, you win some, you lose some. We'll check this one out and see if it's close, and if it's not, we're going for a drive. Spewing that we have to do a half an hour drive to get one part.
What happens when you live in the whoops?
Alright, I'm back from town, and that was a bit of a mission. I ended up paying 10 times as much as I should because our local supplier didn't have the part I needed, so I had to go to a bearing place, and those prices were through the roof, but that's the only option I had, so it's the one I took. Grabbed some brake fluid while I was out as well, which that also wasn't cheap. All the prices have just gone through the roof, guys. And mate, this stuff ain't cheap. Got some breakfast from McDonald's, so I'm fueled up and ready to go. But yeah, just disappointed in how much things cost nowadays. Out there, that cost $10. And the one that I can get from the car yard, or from the car parts supplier, is $1.80. But I can't get it today, and I need it today. So I paid a premium, and unfortunately that's what you got to do sometimes, but I'm not impressed. Anyway, we'll chuck this seal in and get the car back on the ground. Before you go installing a seal that you're not 100% sure of, do yourself a favour, grab the tail shaft yoke and just slip the seal over it, make sure it actually fits. So we'll quickly do that. There we go. Because you don't want to go knocking this in and it's not going to actually seal. Alright, that's perfect. It's tight. Alright, I'll hit this one in. Now this should just go in without too much drama. Alright, I'll push that in by fingers just to get it started. Now, guys, get your best hammer. And I like to use the butt of the hammer on these just because of where they are. Makes it pretty easy. And just ever so slightly, just gently knock it in. Just knock it in until it's flush. Evenly all the way around. Left, right, up, down, up, down. And then you hear that noise change. That's all the way in. Hear that? Again, all the way in. So that is in flush. Now I just get my finger, run it around there, feel if there's any high spots, which I can't feel any high spots there. Oh, little tiny bit there. Give it a little bit more. Make sure it's in perfect. That's perfect. Woo! Okay, that's in. Okay, so this is what we've just pulled out. And this is the end of the speedo cable, so it's not really much good to us without the rest of it. And when you buy a new one, it comes with all this. So I'll pop this speedo drive gear off just for the time being, and I'm going to crimp this down and weld it up, and then I'll plonk it back in the hole, and then we won't have an oil leak from that anymore. See that? All crimped up. Put some weld over it and put it back in. That's what you want there. You can see I put some welds on the sides as well. When you're doing this sort of stuff, you don't want to be guessing. You got to make sure you got it all sealed up, because otherwise you're pulling it out again and welding it again. And I don't want to do that. So let's put it back in the car now. Okay, so I don't know where we're at, because I've been away for a couple of hours tackling some other business. But I've just started figuring out the battery location for the time being. And I've noticed that there's this old isolator here that they've had in the cab for some reason. So I've gone around the other side, cut the bolts off, and I'm going to run my power lead through there for now. I'll probably drill another hole here for the ground, and just ground it from here to the block, and then from the inside to the battery. And that'll make me happy for now, just so that we've got a battery mounted in the car when we don't have any inner wheel arches. And this thing can go in the bin. So this is where that isolator was, and you can see that I've cut straight across where the bolts were. I've just cut, this side had the nuts on it, so I've cut the nuts in half just with the angle grinder, and then pushed it out. So I've got a lot going on here now. The car obviously needs to be able to change gears, and I want to be able to do that from inside the cab. So I picked up this out of a VS Commodore, and I cut the section of floor out as well, and I'm in the process of making that fit in this car. And as you can imagine, the floors are nothing alike, so it hasn't been that easy, and I haven't been filming because I've just been trying to get it done, because I really want to get this thing fired up. But I'll show you what I've got to now. I've got it tacked in place, and I'm just about to cut this down. You can see I've got a couple of marks there, so I'm going to cut the top mark, so that the bottom one is where I need my adjustment to go, so I want some overhang. So I'm going to cut that top piece off just for clearance, and then I will bolt this thing back down. I'll probably just put a Tech screw or two in it just to hold it in place while I'm still mocking this up. Make sure it all works, and then we'll have a gear selector. I've had to cut out a fair bit of the floor repair that I've done previously to make this piece of transmission tunnel fit. So that didn't thrill me too much. But yeah, it is what it is, and it'll be better in the end anyway from doing it this way, because it'll just all work. So yeah, I'll give you a look what I've done, and then I'll get back to work, and I'll come back when I'm closer. Alright, so the floors in this thing are actually good now. I've done repairs where I need to. I still need to do a little bit over in that corner over there. As you can see here, I've got this tunnel in, and it is tacked in place. And I've got a gap up the front. I've got a gap up here that I'm going to have to fill in. I've got some gap here that I can just hammer that down, and then this will all fit. I'm going to cut this off here and hammer it down as well. That doesn't need to be out as wide as it is. And then I'll just make this all fit along here. I've had to cut heaps of the floor out to make this fit, because this is a 4-speed shifter. But it'll work for this anyway. I'll go around the other side. So I've got a tack here, and I've got a tack up here just to hold it in place, but you can see how much of the floor, that's from somebody in the past. I don't know what they've had there, floor shifter of some sort. And you can see down here I've got quite a bit of a gap, which I'll panel that and make that work. And then over here I've got my shifter. Alright, so I've got the shifter there. The good thing about this is it's got a neutral safety switch on it, so it's easy to wire this in. And then this just goes down here. Okay, this does actually fit. I've just been mucking around with it a little bit. That's not happy, but yeah, that fits in there now. So like I say, a couple of tech screws or something just to make sure it's all right before I start cutting any more of this. And try not to set everything on fire in here, but that's the only fire blanket that I'm willing to pull out of its bag. So I'm using a towel over here, but I don't really want any of this to catch on fire, but doing my best. So yeah, I'll get that in, we'll have gears, and that'll be it. That's done, guys. That's the shifter. We've got park, reverse, neutral drive, second, first. All good. Next thing. What's next? I don't know. We'll figure something out. Okay, not the result we wanted, but the transmission does seem to have gears, which is good, and the engine runs. Had it idling. Definitely need to get a cooling fan on here because it's got a bit warm. I'm underwhelmed. Oh yeah, we're boiling now. If the exhaust or whatever wasn't popping like that, I'd be way happier. Now I've just got to figure out what that is, because I'm not going to try and do a burnout with it like that. Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not the result that I was hoping for. So back to the drawing board for now. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to sit on it for a bit and see what I can come up with. I think I might pull out the spark plugs just before I have a rest. Yeah, I think I'll wait for this thing to cool down, then I'll pull out spark plugs and just see if I've got one that's fouled up or something. Alright guys, I'm going to go in for a bit. Alright, I did it again, and I think it's even the same cylinder as last time, and I feel like a dummy. Do you guys remember when I very first got this thing running and I didn't have a full set of leads? So what happened back then was I put all my leads on and wasn't paying attention, and I got 5 and 6 around the wrong way. So when I shut this off just before, I was planning on going inside and having a rest, but my beautiful wife, she came out for some moral support and talked me into having a bit of a look into it. And I said to myself, I just really want to go inside, but she just said, nope, have a look now and then come in later. So what I did was I said to her, well, I'll check the spark plugs and see which cylinder is which is popping. So I figured I'd pull the spark plugs out and one of them would be fouled up or something like that. So as I was about to pull the spark plugs out, I was looking at the leads, and for some reason I just thought I'll check the firing order and have a look at this. So I've come along and I've gone 1 over to 1, okay, 2 is going to 2, okay, 7 over there, 8. And that is not 8. That is not 8 at all, Reece boy. What are you doing? Okay, so we've got 8 there. 1, 2, 7, 8, 4, which is here. Perfect. 5 over there, yes. 6, and we've got 6 running to 8. So, and then obviously 3 over there. So I've done it again. I don't know how I even managed to get this out because I haven't changed anything, unless I had this wrong when I started it last time, which I probably did because I only ran it for like 10 seconds. So I've got to do the switcheroo with those two, which is as simple as this. And then bop, and then over here, bop. Now I'm betting when I start this thing up again, we aren't going to have any pops and bangs and stuff. So, oh, guys, you just got to pay attention and you can't assume. And I've been doing a lot of that lately because I'm tired, working a full-time job, had a loss in the family, and then not getting a lot of sleep with baby and all that stuff. I know it's all excuses and I shouldn't be making them, but it all does take its toll. And when you're working on stuff like this, you've really got to look after yourself because you can get injured or you can hurt someone else or whatever. And obviously I haven't had my head switched on, and I made a mistake that I've already made before. So I'm happy that I found that, and I'm going to start it up again and just check to make sure it's not popping and banging anymore. And then that'll be me for the day, and then we'll have to do a burnout, guys. But we're going to make sure this thing's not popping and banging anymore. What else was I going to say? We've got to get these brakes bled up, because I was trying to get the brakes to work before, and I think over the last couple of weeks of just having this sit here with the brake line crimped off, I think some brake fluid's actually gotten through, so I'm going to have to bleed them up again, and that'll be it. So I'm going to have a bit more of a crack at this, and then I'm going inside. Still heaps of water in it. That took absolutely no water, about not even half a litre of water. Okay, so we're just going to start it up, make sure it's not popping and banging, and then we're going to shut it off for the day. Oh, also, going to have to come up with another plan for these heater hoses, because these two here were leaking, so they filled up here and then ended up running all the way down the back. So I'm going to get some rubber caps and some hose clamps for them, and I'll probably do that there too, just to make it look like it matches. And we're going to have to tighten up this oil pressure sender, or put some thread tape on it or something, because that thing's leaking as well. But they're later on Reece's problem. Right now we're just going to get this thing started again, make sure it's not going to pop and bang. Alright, let's go. Where's the earmuffs gone? have a look at it, guys. Yeah. Little belt there doing a good job. Throttle cable. Shut it off. Woo! So thankful. Oh god, I was so shocked. I was sure this was going to be a fail after all that work. I thought I'd had a burnt valve or something. Oh my god. The relief is massive. Oh, thank God. Alright. Now we're back on track. The next thing we're going to do now is make sure that we have a look at this transmission oil again tomorrow, and make sure that's fully topped up. Once that's perfect, and I know it's perfect, bleed these brakes, and then these tyres are in for some trouble. I also think that I should put a return spring on this carby. I wasn't going to, but because my throttle cable still hasn't arrived, I'm using a piece of wire, which isn't the safest, honestly. So I will put a return spring on, which I've just pulled out of the box of goodies. I'll chuck that on there. It's big, but it's actually quite a light spring. Yeah, so I'll do all that tomorrow. We're going to kill some tyres, guys. And then that's it for this week. Yeah, alright, see you tomorrow. And there it is, guys. Happy 1,000 subscribers. Shed skid, first attempt. Oh god, check that out. Now, with any luck, the cops will be here soon. But you do what you got to do. And just like to say thanks to everybody that's been watching and supporting the videos and the channel, and so happy that we got here. And what a result. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Please, guys, if you haven't, comment, like, and subscribe. And again, happy 1,000 subscribers. Cheers.